the government of India is in beast mode. Hello everyone. It all started on September 19, 2023. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made a statement in the House of Commons in the Canadian Assembly that has sent shockwaves through the Indian diplomatic world. He was accused directly of the assassination of a Canadian citizen named Hardeep Singh Nijjar. In
the past number of weeks, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
In response, Trudeau announced the expulsion of an Indian diplomat from Canadian soil. This incident escalated to the point where Canada sought diplomatic support to the big brother of the world, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia to exert pressure on India. This incident triggered a heated diplomatic showdown between Canada and India, while some might perceive it as just another political conflict like India and Pakistan, but it carries significant economic implications for both nations. India currently ranks as Canada's 9th largest trading partner, while Canada holds the position of the 7th largest foreign direct investor in India. Canadian investment funds have made substantial investments in Indian companies, securing stakes in Kotak, Zomato, Nyka, Flipkart, and more. For example, foreign education from India alone contributed $9 billion to the Canadian economy in 2021. In this episode, we aim to delve into the complex dynamics surrounding the Khalistan movement, Canada's support for it, its implications for India, and crucially, how it may impact long-term economic and trade relations between India and Canada. Let's start. We will come from where all started, back to the time of India's struggle for independence. During this period, as the nation witnessed the partition and the creation of Pakistan to accommodate its Muslim population, India found itself predominantly Hindu. However, a segment of the Sikh community felt a sense of unease and began advocating for the establishment of Khalistan. It's important to note that this demand didn't gain significant traction until the 1970s, as the majority of Sikhs chose to remain an integral part of India. Many Sikhs had even made significant sacrifices for the country's independence. It was during this period that neighboring Pakistan entered the picture and started providing support to the Khalistan movement. The question arises: what was Pakistan's interest in the Khalistan movement, and how did it stand to benefit from it? It boils down to a matter of revenge stemming from the 1971 Indo-Pak War. In that conflict, India emerged victorious, liberating Bangladesh from Pakistan's control. However, Pakistan realized that it couldn't engage India in a conventional war due to the potential catastrophic consequences for its economy. This realization led Pakistan to devise a strategy known as "I bleed India through 1,000 cuts." Instead of direct military engagement, Pakistan opted for a proxy approach. In the structured world of international relations, a direct attack by Pakistan on India would have constituted a declaration of war, potentially enabling India to retaliate with devastating consequences for Pakistan. To avoid this, Pakistan began financing various organizations to destabilize India, specifically targeting regions beyond Kashmir. If we examine the geographical map, we find that aside from Kashmir, 3 additional states share borders with Pakistan: Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Punjab. While Rajasthan is a desert area and Gujarat is a coastal region featured sparsely challenging terrain along their borders, Punjab emerged as the ideal location for executing these destabilizing activities. For Pakistan, it was like having an extra division of its army without incurring additional costs. This strategy involved the use of Sikh shrines in Pakistani Punjab as a pretext for inviting a large number of Sikhs, ostensibly for pilgrimages. However, these individuals were systematically trained and indoctrinated into militant activities. This approach took a disastrous turn and culminated in the tragic siege of the Golden Temple in 1984. Subsequently, Operation Blue Star was launched to flush out terrorists from the temple. These events triggered widespread unrest among Sikhs, leading to the assassination of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi and subsequent anti-Sikh riots.
Indira Gandhi, ruler of the world's largest democracy, died today, shot down by two of her own bodyguards.
From these events, dramatically changed perceptions of the Khalistan is. They transitioned from being viewed as rebels to being labeled as terrorists. In response, the Indian government initiated a crackdown on Khalistan terrorists, causing many of them to seek asylum in Western nations such as Canada, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia. Despite a decline in the movement's activity due to concentrated efforts by the Indian government, recent developments have seen the Khalistan movement resurface. The Khalistan movement had once receded due to the concentrated efforts of the Indian government. However, it has recently experienced a resurgence. Notably, Hardeep Singh Nijjar, the Canadian citizen tragically assassinated, was one of those who had fled India 26 years ago, seeking asylum in Canada using a false passport under the alias Ravi Sharma. After gaining Canadian citizenship, Hardeep became a prominent member of the Sikhs for Justice's organization, which advocates for the separation of Punjab from India. The critical question arises: why would the Canadian government risk its billion-dollar relationship with India over the actions of one individual? The answer lies in the realm of political necessity. Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, finds himself in a precarious political situation. While Trudeau's party secured more seats than the opposition, it was insufficient to form a majority government. This is where Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the rival PM Canada party, comes into play. Singh's ENDP party won 24 seats in the 2021 elections and offered Trudeau the opportunity to form a coalition government which favored Trudeau's position. However, the complication arises from Mr. Singh's increasingly vocal support for the Khalistan movement. Justin Trudeau now faces a dilemma where he must continue supporting the NDP to maintain his government's stability. Yet, supporting the NDP also means indirectly endorsing the Khalistan movement. This political situation has strained diplomatic relations with India, setting the stage for recent developments. The heated diplomatic battle between Canada and India carries significant economic implications, affecting both Indian businesses and the Indian economy at large. To understand the trade and economic impact, let's break it down. Trade is a pivotal aspect of any bilateral relationship, and currently, the total trade between India and Canada stands at $1 billion. India exports approximately $4 billion worth of goods while importing a similar amount. Notably, India ranks as Canada's 9th largest trading partner, while Canada holds the 25th position among India's trading partners. While trade with Canada may not appear exceedingly significant from an Indian perspective, it's crucial to note that between 2001 and 2019, India's imports to Canada witnessed a remarkable 10% growth, with a noteworthy 25% surge in the last year, due to the shift away from China by many Western countries. Canada was on the verge of signing a free trade agreement with India. For those unfamiliar with free trade agreements, they involve both countries agreeing to reduce import tariffs, facilitating trade by lowering costs. The potential of this free trade agreement, known as the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, was substantial. It could have led to a 56% increase in agri-food product trade, a 57% boost in manufacturing, and an astounding 242% growth in merchandise exports. This agreement had the capacity to double bilateral trade between India and Canada, reaching $16.8 billion. In the event of its signing, Canadian exports could have grown by 39.47%, while Indian exports could have surged by 32 to 60%. This would have added between $6 to $5 billion to the GDP of each country, creating a significant potential for generating 8,000 to 14,600 jobs in India. However, due to the ongoing diplomatic battle, the negotiations for this crucial free trade agreement have been halted. Additionally, the conflict may result in the withdrawal of investments made by Canadian funds in India, Canada being the 7th largest foreign direct investor in India. has invested a substantial amount, totaling 1.7 lakh crore rupees in the past 4 years. This investment has been growing at an impressive rate of 37%. Notably, the Canada Pension Plan Investments Fund alone has poured over $45 billion into India. As mentioned in the introduction, Canadian investment funds hold significant stakes in various Indian enterprises. For instance, they own a 2.68% stake in Kotak Bank with a substantial $115 billion Canadian investment. Additionally, Canadian funds have committed $800 million to the Flipkart Group. The second impact of this conflict pertains to the potential withdrawal of investments made by Canadian funds in India. Just like Canadian companies, Indian entities have also invested significantly in Canada, totaling $6.6 billion Canadian and generating over 177,000 jobs. If the situation escalates further between India and Canada, the seventh largest investor in the Indian capital markets may consider divesting from India. Consequently, concerns about these potential actions may affect stock prices, with companies like Kotak and Zomato already experiencing declines at the time of my last check. It's important to note that such measures are extreme and would typically be considered in scenarios where rational decision-making takes a back seat. It's essential to acknowledge the substantial Indian diaspora in Canada, ranging from students to corporate executives. Remarkably, Indians constitute 40% of the total overseas student population in Canada. In the event of deteriorating relations between India and Canada, issues such as student permits, imposition of tariffs by the Indian government on Canadian universities, and the disruption of numerous study abroad businesses in India could be potential consequences. This will happen at extreme high situation. An extremist group can destroy the country's economy. I hope the issue will be resolved quickly. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more. Together, let's shape a brighter future. Stay informed, engaged, and be a catalyst for change. Your support keeps us going. See you in the next video.